What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Futbol Asada. I'm your host, Andre, here with my co-host, Chris.
What up, boys and girls?
And today we're going to be discussing who would be the most impressive Liga MX champion based off of the now semi-finalists.
If we get right into it, right away, the options are obviously Cruz Azul. I think for one, breaking the points record, and if they were to finish it off with the title, could you ask, is this the best ever single season by a Liga MX team ever? Are they the best Liga MX team ever? Obviously, if America wins it, it would be completing the three-peat, the first three-peat since 1985. When they did it, it was actually America who did it in 1985. And the fact that they're doing it from being the seventh seed, barely getting in through the repechaje, or San Luis, because let's be honest, they're fucking San Luis. San Luis has never been to a final, has never won a title. This is only their second semifinal appearance ever. So if they were to win it, they have a good shout at being the most impressive. I think the only one that doesn't really have a shout at it being the most impressive,
Monterrey.
it kind of depends. If they go out and fucking smash in the semifinals against San Luis and in the final against either Cruz Azul or America, also scoring 6 goals like how they did on Pumas,
Yep.
then I'd be like, hey, you know what? This is probably the most impressive run in a league I've ever seen. But I can't pick them, so for me, they're already out of the running. The team I'm going to go with is, I think I'm going to go with Cruz Azul, and here's why. So obviously, you broke the points record in the regular season. You only lost one game all season. And you're capping it off with a title. On the way to that title, eliminating America, like your biggest rival, eliminating them, a team that just beat you last season in the final. If you were to do that and then capping it off with a title, I think would be, and obviously with an epic remontada like they had in the quarterfinals against Tijuana, I think they would cap off the most impressive Liga MX season we've seen in a while. More impressive than if America or Monterrey or San Luis were winning it. I also think because just the fact that think about how mentally tough you need to be, bro. You got to the final last season. You were the better team against America in that final. You had already lost, I don't know how many finals in a row against America over the last, I don't know how many years. And they beat you again. And what people are saying, it shouldn't have been a penal, if you guys remember that last year's final. For them to be able to regroup and go through that, damn, bro, once again, we got so close and failed. And yet, instead of letting that linger, and check this out. In the offseason, they lost their highest scorer, their highest goal scorer, Antuna. He was their highest scorer last season. They lost one of their best young players, one of their best players in general, Rodrigo Huescas, going to Europe. So, losing some very key players, coming off a very devastating finals loss to cap that off the following season. You break the points record and make it all the way to the final. And if you were to beat America, eliminate them, and then lift the title, I think for me that would be the most impressive champion out of the 4 semifinalists, in my opinion.
You're forgetting they finished the regular season, with the most goals scored and the least amount of goals conceded. So that would literally be the perfect season imagined for them. But that is not my pick, because if America wins the Liga MX title, that to me would be the most impressive champion, because it would obviously be a three-peat. They're the only team to have ever done it. Not only that, they're doing it with a manager, Andre Jardine, who in his first 3 seasons at the club, he's won the league every single time. Another reason, people are forgetting this season, Club America didn't play in the Estadio Azteca once. They technically haven't been home all season, meaning they're playing against Cruz Azul, basically in Cruz Azul Stadium twice. They're playing away twice. Yeah, that's the way I see it. That would be really impressive. And then obviously the way they started off the season, they lost to San Luis, they lost a lot of games. At some point they were 12th place. We were all asking ourselves, all right, they went back to back, but nah, there's no way this team is barely scraping playoffs at this point. And for them to be lifting the title at the end of the season, bro, and to complete the three-peat, that to me I would be shocked. I would actually be shocked. I would be pissed off that no one was able to stop this team that had such a slow start and obviously prevent them from winning it 3 times in a row. The run in the Liga MX playoffs, having to play a play-in match for the first time in Xolos' stadium. I know Xolos isn't as good of a team. They were the 8th seed, but Xolos only lost 1 game at home all year, and they managed to beat them. Went on to play Toluca in the next round. Toluca at the Nemesio Diaz is scary. They held them to 0 goals in both legs. And like I just said right now, the Clásico Joven in the semis, 2 games at their stadium. It's even rumored that if they make the final, I don't even think they're going to be able to play in that stadium. They're going to have to play at Puebla Stadium on that Thursday due to this sort of rule that the city has. So, bro, there's no way there would be another impressive champion, in my opinion. the odds are really the odds really are stacked against them, and if they manage to do it, that would be, I mean, history, obviously.
I don't think America has a wrong answer either. Because like I said, there's a reason there hasn't been a three-peat champion since '85. What is that? Almost 40 years.
Yep.
Because it's hard, bro. Like it's hard. Like there's so much parity in the Liga MX that it's hard to win 3 times in a row.
Look at all the big teams that got knocked out already.
Exactly. Like I think it would be impressive, like I said, if everyone won it. Maybe except for Monterrey. Except like I said, in their case, if they were to just score a record amount of goals in the year, then I'd give it to them. But like San Luis, America, and Cruz Azul, I think would be all impressive if they were to win it. I slightly give the edge to Cruz Azul because I mean I don't think I've ever seen that, like a team making a final, depressingly losing to your our biggest rival in the off season. You lose your two of your biggest attacking pieces, and then the very next season you break the record for points. You score the most goals. You have the best home record. I think Cruz Azul is 8 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses this season at home with a plus 20 goal differential. I think it would be literally almost basically the perfect season. But then again, like I said, you do make a case for America. I mean, them beating Toluca. I mean, I know in last week's episode we called it that Toluca would be frauds and get eliminated first round. But it's still impressive. Like Toluca hadn't lost a game all season. Like the Nemesio Diaz is one of the hardest places to play. They have arguably the best player of the season this season, and Paulinho,
Didn't do anything.
and they held him to 0 goals. Beat him 4-0. Like the number 7 seed beat the 2 seed 4-0 on aggregate.
Yeah.
So it'd be very impressive. Again, I mean, I guess San Luis, we already kind of gave them their flowers, but I can't really see them winning it. But if they do, I mean, that would also be very impressive. Like a team that, let's be honest, like no one is even expecting them to make Liguilla, like ever. The fact that they're even in the semis, and if they were to win the whole thing, that would be the craziest thing as well.
Yeah, I think their manager, Dominic Torrent, deserves all the credit because as much as I watch the Liga MX and as much as I know about the league, I can't name you at the top of my head their starting 11. I know like 4 or 5 players max. I think collectively they're good. They don't have a star player like Cruz Azul do. Oh, no, Cruz Azul doesn't even have a star player there, to be honest.
No, really, yeah.
Yeah, but that's besides the fact. I think San Luis collectively are really good, and like I said, it's all props to the coach. I think they went the regular season unbeaten at home. Them, Toluca, Cruz Azul, and what other team went unbeaten at home?
Well, yeah, you had mentioned Cholos for a while.
We lost once. The unbeaten home teams were Toluca, Cruz Azul, San Luis, Tigres, and they just knocked out Tigres. I think San Luis would be a huge surprise team. Would be no doubt a streets won't forget team like Cholos in 2012. But I think America lifting it would just be shit. I'd even say that that's the greatest Liga MX manager of all time. I know there's other managers with more titles, but the fact that he did it every single year at that team, bro. To be honest, every game they've played in Liga America, you just can't go against them, bro. He just makes them a fucking powerhouse team in Liga. Like that's how good he's made this team.
Yeah, I mean, I pray that doesn't happen because I don't know, America fans are just unbearable. But I mean, it would be impressive. I'm not gonna lie, I'll give you your props. It would be impressive.
Would you agree if Jardine wins another title for America? Would you say he's the best Liga MX manager of all time?
I wouldn't agree with that because his longevity is just not there. Like less than
I don't
2 years.
care, bro. Like that's just insane.
I mean, longevity has to matter because like 3 titles, he wouldn't have the most titles. He'd only be in the league less than 2 years. Like I don't know. I don't think that's enough, to be honest, to be crowned the GOAT manager. Like, yeah, I don't know.
You guys, let us know in the comments for that because that's something I've been wondering if America lifts the whole thing. But besides that, let us know any of your takes. Which team do you believe would be more impressive if they lifted this season? Click the links down below to join our socials and to join our Discord link down below. And any last comments?
I'm actually curious to see who people think is most impressive, or if there's anyone in the comments that believes it's Monterrey. Please let your case be known in the comments because I don't know.
Bro, they have I'm pretty sure they have the most expensive roster. I mean, it's obviously impressive if you lift the league title, but I think Monterrey is the least one, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm curious to hear what everyone else thinks, but we'll see.
We'll catch you guys in next week's episode. Stay tuned.